Greetings, my excellent friends. The Dead Monk welcomes you to Purgatory. And joining me in Purgatory might be Netflix's Binge model. We're told that Netflix abandons Binge model for week-to-week episodes on multiple shows. Now, they list 2. And yeah, this isn't all shows. But maybe it will be in the future. We don't need to read all of this, but yeah, we all know how Netflix works. Whenever they release a show or a season of a show, they'll just drop it all at once. The last thing I watched from Netflix, well actually, just within this last week, I've been watching Dark Crystal, and yeah, whole show all at once. Every season of Stranger Things all at once. Sure, that's good for someone who would like to binge the shows, but there are some drawbacks to that, and even if they don't release it in that schedule, nothing's stopping you from waiting until a season's over and then binging the whole thing. The only drawback to that is, well, you could have things spoiled for you if you don't watch it as soon as it comes out and watch it all right away. I think I saw Stranger Things, the whole thing, came out on the 4th of July, I believe. Well, I saw it all on the 4th of July. So we're told that the new season of The Great British Baking Show, Collection 7, is the first program to get the updated weekly treatment. It has usually been released differently in the US and UK, allowing Netflix to release it all at once. However, this time around, Netflix really wants to keep the suspense of eliminations alive. If you go and look at the listings for the show on Netflix, you'll see just one episode available for Collection 7. There are future episodes shown, but none of them are able to be watched. Instead, there is just a date for the release of that single episode. Releasing each episode weekly will allow viewers to keep up with the reality competition just as they do shows that air on cable. And definitely not my kind of show. I don't do all that reality stuff, but I can understand the desire to have that be weekly rather than all at once. Sure, there's suspense from week to week, who's going to go on, all that kind of nonsense. But you can say the same thing about any kind of serialized show. So I already mentioned Stranger Things. Well, how are they going to get out of the mess that they just got into in this episode? You don't have to wait a week, you just keep watching. You know, there's no build-up of suspense. You're thinking about it the whole week, what's going to happen? Talking about it with your friends, what's going to happen? Oh, I think this will happen. No, there's none of that. You just watch the next episode. So there certainly are drawbacks to doing it all at once. If the show's really good, like Stranger Things is, then sure, you'll get people talking about it for a while. But otherwise, no, it comes, it goes, it's gone. I watched the show, let's see, was this Netflix? Yeah, it was Netflix. Another Life. It's a sci-fi show with Katie Sackhoff. Those 2 things, I said, alright, I'll give it a shot. It sucks, don't bother watching it. I recorded a review. I just haven't gotten around to editing it. I don't know if I will. If I get the time. But yeah, I watched the whole show. It's not very good. And if it had been released week to week, you would have at least had some buzz about it for a little while. If a lot of people didn't like it, then that'll trail off. But for a while at least, well, you get some buzz. Get some attention. Instead, if the show's no good, no one's talking about it within a week. So the only other show they mention here, besides the Great British Baking Show, is Rhythm and Flow. So another reality competition show. But it says, yeah, it's a rap competition series. It says the show will be released in groups each and every week. So on October 9th, the first 4 episodes. And then 1 week later, episodes 5 through 7. And then October 23rd, episodes 8 through 10. So 10 episodes released over the span of 3 weeks. You could stretch that out to 10 weeks. Or, maybe do the first 2. Which they mention Hulu here. So apparently Hulu has tried something similar where they've released the first 3 episodes of a series on the first week. Which I think that's a good idea. If it's just one, well, especially if the series is brand new, you don't get a whole lot from that, but sure, 3 episodes, people can get a good idea about what to expect, and that can really get some interest. And then after that, you release it 1 episode a week. Yeah, that could work really well. There's a monetary reason for doing this as well. I mean, if you do all the shows at once, It kind of encourages people to just sign up for 1 month of Netflix, binge a bunch of shows. They wait until something's coming out that they really want to see, sign up for 1 month, watch that, watch a few other shows that may have come out in the last few months or whatever, and then get rid of their subscription. And then maybe 6 months later, they'll find something else they really want to watch and do the same thing. And only pay for 2 or 3 months a year. But if you're releasing episodes every week, you can at least bring people in for a good, well, if it's something that's, say, a dozen episodes, well, you get 3 months out of someone from that. And yes, nothing's stopping someone from waiting until the show's over and binging the whole thing, but they're less likely to do that when, well, they'll miss out because other people are watching the show and they're not. People are afraid of that. That's fine if that's how you feel. Personally, I don't mind waiting until not just a season of a show is over, but the entire show. I never saw one episode of Breaking Bad until the whole thing was over. Loved the show, but yeah, I didn't see anything until it was done, and then I watched the whole show in a couple months. So I would be someone that I would still be willing to binge stuff on Netflix, even if they're releasing it week to week. But a lot of people are going to be dragged in more, as I said, more interest, more buzz about shows if you're doing it once a week. Alright, so we'll see if this expands. As I said, right now it's just 2 shows, a couple reality shows, Great British Baking Show, and what was the other one? Rhythm and Flow. Never seen these. Well, but yeah, maybe this will go on to other shows. Maybe next year, when we get another, well, 2 years from now, whenever it is, we get another season of Stranger Things, maybe it'll be once a week. Alright, so if you've watched this far, please consider liking and subscribing. And in the meantime, go out there and to everyone, just be excellent to each other. Farewell and party on, dudes.